why we use the refrigeration cycle and how it works to cool the home. So the main reason we use the refrigeration cycle using refrigerant is heat transfer. The whole point of HVAC and cooling a home is to transfer heat. And you may think, well, isn't this cooling? Yes, it is cooling, but to achieve cooling, we must remove heat. Okay, so say we have 80 degrees in the home. We're pulling this hot air inside the HVAC system and over this evaporator coil. This evaporator coil right here. Now this evaporator coil, it's really cold, right? So it's gonna absorb that heat. Just like if you're really cold on a hot summer day, what's gonna happen? Your body's gonna absorb the heat and it's now gonna become warm. So this cold evaporator coil is absorbing the heat. That heat gets sent out to the condensing unit and to the compressor. The compressor will pump it throughout the condensing unit, and as it's going through this condensing unit, this fan is on and it's pulling the outside air, which let's say it's 90 degrees. The temperature of this vapor right now is about 120 degrees. So when we have 90-degree air blowing over 120-degree coils, since this is colder than this, it's cooling it off. So we're pulling air across these coils. We start to expel heat. And since we're expelling heat, these coils start to cool off. And what happens is, it starts to turn into a liquid. Keep in mind, we're only doing this so that we can transfer heat. That's why we manipulate the pressures, so that we can absorb heat from an 80-degree home and then expel it outside in 90-degree temperatures. So now that this liquid is cooled, we take it back inside to the evaporator coil, and then the evaporator coil absorbs more heat. And then it is transferred back outside the condensing unit and the process restarts. And since this process is always going, of course the evaporator coil here stays at a cold temperature because it's able to keep up, right? So that means when our 80-degree air is going over this coil, it's coming out on this side about 60 degrees. Let me quickly debunk this fact. Cold is real is not true. Cold is not real. And let me tell you why. Cold is the absence of heat. So if you remember, the air in our home was 80 degrees. And what do we have to do to make that 80-degree air turn into 60-degree air? Well, we have to remove 20 degrees of heat. So when we remove that heat, voila, we get cold. Say we have an alien here whose body temperature is 500 degrees. To this alien, 400 degrees is very cold. So not only is cold not real, but it's also relative.